Welcome back. On today's episode of the Utilitrain Podcast, we've got John Heine from TMC. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
So, TMC, tell me a little bit about the company a little bit before we get into your history of the company. What is TMC?
All right. First, TMC is strictly a flatbed trucking company. All right. We were started back in 1972. So it's been over 50 years that we've been in existence. We were started by Harold Annette. He started with 6 trucks back in 1972 and currently well over 3,100 trucks currently today. We are the largest privately held flatbed trucking companies in the United States. We went employee-owned in 2013, so it's been now close to almost 12 years of being employee-owned.
Okay. As far as other locations, you may have covered a little bit about that. I was actually thinking about the next question. That's kind of how it's going. Where all are you?
Yeah. So we cover all 48 states, including Canada. But majority of our driving is from the Midwest to the East Coast. We have 4 terminals, 4 locations. Our headquarters in Des Moines, Iowa. We do have a terminal in Brownsburg, Indiana, Columbia, South Carolina, and Joplin, Missouri.
Okay. If you had to guess how many miles your drivers put on trucks every single year, is there any sort of if a salesperson was to go out and talk to somebody, be like, oh yeah, we cover 10.8 million miles per year, anything like that?
I don't have that statistic with right now. On average, I would say a driver could do between 2,400 miles in a week.
Okay.
Multiply that by,
a lot.
So, I don't really have that specific number, but
you said you had 3,000 trucks.
Correct.
So 2,400 miles times 3,000 trucks. We need somebody to do the math and put it in the comments on roughly how many miles you hit per week, because I know that's many times around the world over every single week.
That is a true fact.
Around the circumference of the globe. So a lot of miles being driven. Looks like 7.2 million miles. So if anybody put that in the comments, you're right. 7.2 million miles per week. That's a lot of miles.
It's a lot of miles.
As far as safety goes, as far as driver training goes, how much do you do in-house for the safety and training of your drivers?
That's a good question. After the individual comes from a CDL school to TMC, we have a 2-week orientation. We have 2 training facilities. One is in, obviously, Des Moines, Iowa, where our headquarters is at, and one is in Columbia, South Carolina. During that 2-week orientation, we teach them, the biggest part of flatbed, which is the load securement part, which is the tarping, strapping, chaining of different objects. Some of the things that we do are like lumber, steel coils, shingles, insulation, drywall, piping. So we go over all the securement part of that. We also, they have classroom time, obviously learning a little bit more about what TMC is all about, going over logs, and then getting into the truck then, obviously a little bit different than van, where we are flatbed. So basically the individual is getting a lot of drive time while at the orientation. Now, after that orientation, they go back home, and then they have around 4 weeks of driving with a trainer. And during that 4 weeks, they're driving, and the trainer's sitting next to them and, teaching them, training them. So that's what I love about TMC. We don't just put them in a truck and say, all right, good luck. Let's go on. Let's go do it. It's 6 weeks of training total if you count the 2 weeks of orientation. So they're getting plenty of training, before they get the keys to their own truck.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is amazing, because, some companies, they give the keys right away and say, all right, good luck to you. Where TMC were very, conscious on the training part of it all, because to me, that's the big part. In schools, they're just here to, get the skills to pass the test. And then to me, it's all about the companies that need to, polish those skills and make them even better.
With those skills, are there a particular set of skills or specific set of traits that you're looking for in a driver coming into TMC?
Well, I mean, to me, I think you have to have the mindset, and I think to me, it's all about your family too, backing you on whether you're going to be successful or whether you're not going to be successful. Obviously, we're a regional company where you're home on the weekends, so you got to have that mindset that, hey, I'm going out there, I'm providing for my family, and that I'm coming home on the weekend, and it's nice having that backing of your spouse or that significant other that's at home, your children, that hey, I can go out there, do my job, come home and have great home time and spend time with my family, and then go back on the road again. So
yeah, let's get back into your story a little bit. So we've told a little bit about the TMC story, about some of the the values that they have, as far as safety goes, as far as the amount of training goes. What drew you to TMC?
Well, a little bit about me was that, people don't really believe my story sometimes, is that I was living in Detroit, Michigan. I was in the military. I did 20 years in the United States Marine Corps.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yes.
And I was bartending, and an individual came up to me as I was bartending and basically said, hey, I work for USAA, and all these people that are standing behind me right now are looking to hire veterans tomorrow. And I said, holy cow, I said, I'm a veteran. And by the end of the night, I had a stack of business cards on my bar. They all wanted me to come see them the next day in Detroit. But there was one individual who was a Marine that said, hey, you need to talk to a friend of mine. He works for TMC Transportation. So I said, okay, excellent. We'll talk to him tomorrow, and if we can get him on the line, and I have no problem, speaking to him. So next day, fast forward, next day we talked probably about a good hour and a half. So I felt like at that time he was kind of like feeling me out, like I was feeling him out. Was like, what they're all about and what they do and how they do things. And so he said, oh, when can we get to Des Moines, Iowa? And I said, Des Moines, Iowa? It's like, where's that? So went to Des Moines, Iowa. And first thing that just caught my eye about TMC was just the number one, the outside, the structure of TMC, and how clean everything was. We went to the maintenance bay, and I'm not even kidding you, you could eat off the floor. I mean, that's how clean it was. And everything had its place. So I felt like the structure at TMC was what I was looking for. Here I am, 20-year Marine, obviously a lot of structure going on in my life. So
yeah.
So I felt like the structure was there, like, for me. And then I went into the headquarters building, and I'm not even kidding you, everybody was smiling. It just felt like nobody was having a bad day. And
like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah. Like, wow, this is crazy. Like, nobody feels like, to me, like they're not happy being here.
Yeah.
And so I talked to a few, employees that were working and I just asked them, simply was, how do you like working for TMC? And everybody I've talked to, love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I said, oh, this is the company for me. And then, of course, learning a little bit more about TMC as I'm going through the interview process of them being employee owned, and was also a big part of it also, because you're getting more of just a paycheck. You're getting more into that, and you're
investing in your workplace.
Into the workplace that you're working for, and that kind of excited me. And so I was recruited to be the military recruiter at TMC. And that was simply just to go to military facilities, bases, job fairs, and recruiting veterans into our company. So I did that for about 2.5 years at TMC, living in Des Moines, Iowa. Then I moved to Columbia, South Carolina. Love it there. Weather is awesome. And so I did that for almost about 3 years. And then I moved to Texas. Very hot in Texas. All right. Really did not expect it to be that hot. But it was hot. So I did that for almost a year. And then some unforeseen circumstances happened where we had unfortunately we had a field recruiter pass away in the Northeast. And I am from the Northeast and grew up in Buffalo, New York. And so I figured it was time to come home. So now I've been here a little over a year now.
Okay.
And it's been awesome. I love it. It's a challenge.
Not nearly as warm as down south, but
no, definitely
especially
not.
this last winter.
My golf game, takes a little breather now. Since
no doubt, a lot more golf down in the Carolinas.
Yes.
Golf courses every other.
It's like 7-Eleven. They're on every corner.
Yeah, pretty much. Your experience in the military. How much of the discipline in the military, I guess, let me rephrase this question. There's discipline in the military, so when you come into the workplace, you've already kind of got that discipline built in. You've got the work ethic built in, the get her done type attitude built in. When somebody's coming from, maybe a rougher place, a rougher life, coming into this industry, what are some things they could work on to kind of fit into the industry a little bit better?
Well, I would have to say, the first thing is, with any job, I mean, work ethic is very, very important. And I think too also is the time management piece of it all, where, it's not like you have somebody in the trucking industry that's really looking you over your shoulder at all times. Trust me, we do look at them, but we don't, just, throw them to the wayside. But at the same time, you got to kind of have that time management skill of, okay, I have to wake up at this time, the load has to be delivered at this time. So the trip planning part of it all comes in a big factor of all that. So it's more like, you're setting your own schedule somewhat, but at the same time, I've got to trip plan, but time management skills are definitely, and then of course the discipline.
Yeah.
You got to have the discipline to, make sure that, number one, I am waking up on time. I am going to get these loads there on time, and, checking up on, the loads, the securement part. I'm doing my part of the job that is required of me to make me successful. And of course, make money.
Yes.
So
there's a little bit of accountability there as far as there's the work ethic, but there's the accountability of do what you say when you say you're going to do it. So if you say you're going to be somewhere, be there.
Be there.
Yeah.
Correct. And that's what I think is the biggest part of it, where, yes, safety, number one, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah.
You have to be safe on the road. I mean, these cars don't care how big your truck is. They will dodge in front of you. So always keeping your head on a swivel and watching out for everything around you at that time while you're driving down the road. But yeah, you're right. You have to be accountable for number one, your actions throughout the day, and to me, that's going to make that individual a better driver. And I'm going to go back to it is, having that good home life is going to make, your days better while you're on the road. Knowing that, hey, I'm providing for my family, we're making plenty of money, and, my wife's happy, my spouse is happy, my children are happy, and that obviously is going to make life easier on me as I am on the road. Now, we have individuals that they're single and, they just want to drive and they want to make a lot of money, and that's what they do. And even though our motto at TMC is to get our drivers home on the weekend, we have drivers that don't care about that, and they just stay out and they make more money. So
working with that home life balance, that satisfaction that comes with, it could be happy wife, happy life. It could be, hey, the kids are successful. I'm happy on this end. I'm going to completely butcher this, but Mike Rowe has a statement of it's not safety first. It's like safety sixth or whatever, but it's a filter you constantly have to run everything through on every single day. How often have you experienced that filter getting a little bit muddy or murky when there is some distractions? There's some distractions at home, and then how would you suggest people deal with that?
Yeah, I believe, I mean, obviously we're not a perfect company. We try to be very, very close, but, it's, we have those drivers that have these distractions that are on at home, and sometimes we all do. I mean,
we all do. Absolutely.
I mean, yes. I do, I'm sure you do at times, it's something that maybe it's just, pull off on the side of the road and make a quick phone call or basically set up something with your spouse. Say, hey, when I come home, it's date night. There's things that, I think that, as people that are gone, Monday through Friday, Sunday through Friday, whatever that is, where you can do things that make your life better, in the truck, at home, and that having that, like I said, that home life,
that balance
of being in a truck, but also, like I said, knowing, hey, what's going on. And you can still, with technology today, you basically can look at the individual every day if you wanted to, and see their face and see your kids' face every single day if you really, really wanted to. And
truthfully, that's great advice for everybody in any industry, honestly.
Yes.
Is work on that home life balance and make sure that there's, that everything's happy, because it is truly, all of us have issues. All of us we're not perfect.
No.
None of us are perfect. The ones who say that they are, that it's a lie. They've got some sort of problem somewhere they're hiding. But if all of us could kind of work on that a little bit better, I think this whole world would be a little bit happier place. And it sounds like TMC is doing a pretty good job at that, based on the fact that everyone's walking around smiling like crazy. It's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think it's the structure, the culture that we build at TMC. We know our drivers make us who we are today. I mean, it's all about the drivers. It's not I'm the peon, the drivers are the story. They have all the stories, and they can tell you, how life is on the road. They can tell you, now, just like we are doing today, we have drivers that have podcasts, and they go through their day, tell individuals all over the country how their job is, how they love working for TMC, and what the culture is like. Matter of fact, I was just listening to one yesterday, and the driver just went around in Des Moines, Iowa, just asking why TMC,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the culture, it's everything that TMC stands for, and they're just a great company, to work for, and again, I speak on me as a 20-year veteran, Marine Corps veteran, is that it was a structure for me, and going to another company that had structure, it was just an easy fit. It just was like I wasn't going really anywhere. I was going from from the military to the civilian side of it all, but to me, it didn't really change anything for me. And once you believe, trust something about a company, it's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy.
It absolutely is.
And I can smile, and I can say, hey, I love working for TMC, and it's been over 8 years now. December will be my 9th year, so time is flying. So
yeah. So in March of next year, we're going to be Title IV approved. I hope so. Everything, going to plan, we're going to be Title IV approved, which means we can actually get the GI Bill. So we can do GI Bill, we can do FAFSA for high school students. I truly believe that connection, that pathway after the military, is vital to the success of a lot of veterans. My brother actually serves in the military.
Awesome.
I don't know if he's going to watch this episode or not, but if he does, hi, Ross.
Hello.
So with this, when he got out of the military, he craved that structure. He needed something to kind of keep him going, because there's a lot of veterans that get out that just kind of feel like they're thrown out on the streets. This may be kind of covering a question we already covered earlier, but when somebody comes out of the military or comes out of high school, they're coming out of a very structured system. How important do you believe that is for someone to kind of have that pathway built out, like their next 3 steps?
Right. Well, first off, about 36% of our company are military vets. So as you can see, we do have a lot of military veterans that do work for us. But what we try to do at TMC is we try to, again, bridge that gap between the military and coming out into the civilian world. So number one, in the military, you have a contract. You know what you're going to be doing for the next 4 years or 5 years or 6 years. And then if you decide to re-enlist and sign another contract, but then you have another contract, where hey, I'm going to work for that company. When you're coming out of the military, now you've got to worry about resumes, you got to worry about, interviewing with different companies. And so what we do at TMC is we just try to bridge that gap from military to having a job over at TMC. Because that individual could be right now in California. And we've talked to that individual. He's not planning on staying in California. He might be looking to come back to Pennsylvania, Maryland, wherever. Well, when he comes back, we want him, we would love for him to have a job, or anybody would love to have a job on the other end of that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So what we try to do is, again, bridge that gap from their time over there, coming over here. They have a job that is open for them. And TMC, I think, does a great job on helping bridge that gap between military to then civilian world. Now, again, going back to the stuff that they've learned in the military, time management, having those, that attitude of, work ethic, and it helps to me in any industry, but definitely in this industry, because you got to have all that, the discipline, you got to have the time management, you got to have the attitude, you got to have everything that you need to be successful in this industry. And to me, any industry too. I tell people all the time, we're not any different from any other company. If I work for any company and I have to be to work at 8:00 a.m., that means they're expecting you to be there by 8 a.m. I don't know really any company that says, all right, cool, I don't care if you come in at 8:30 after I told you I wanted you to be here at 8 o'clock. So that's how we, it's just a fit. It's a fit for us. It's a fit for them. But again, we're just like any other company. We just want our employees to show up, do a great job, and just be successful.
It's all good stuff.
Yes.
So I'm going to shift this one last little fun tidbit as we go to a close here. In your time with TMC, what is the biggest or craziest haul that you've ever heard of? I mean, that one of the employees did that you're just like, what in the world? Like, where'd that come from?
I don't really know if there's anything like crazy. I think one of the things that we do is we have a specialized division, John Deere. And I think when I was living in Des Moines, Iowa, we have a John Deere plant that's kind of right down the road. And I saw one day, that combine that was on our trailer with our clean TMC Peterbilt truck with their green, clean John Deere tractor, and it just looked amazing. I ain't gonna lie, it was amazing. And that was one of those things where I was like, a wow factor. Like, number one, look at how big this combine is. Look at how clean that green tractor is on top of the clean TMC truck, which is what we're known for, and our beautiful. I mean, we have probably the best equipment out there, in my opinion. That black and chrome that we have, and the Peterbilt, and how, just like I said, how clean that we keep our trucks, and it just looks beautiful. I mean, it looks so nice being together, and so it's crazy seeing in that, but I enjoyed seeing it, and like I said, that was like the wow factor for me. I was like, wow, look at that outside. That's pretty cool.
That's about all the time we have for today. So,
all right.
If you wanted to do a shout out to anybody, now's the time. Thank you to so-and-so for having me.
Just want to say shout out to all my friends over at TMC, and I'll keep doing good things over here at TMC. So.
Well, thank you very much for your time today.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.